to see you guys.
There you go. Hopefully everybody can hear me.
Just quick housekeeping real quick. We'll start with the opening statement from
Mr.
before turning over to Kevin, and then we'll open up.
Got Mr. Stefanski in here. I wonder how long this is gonna be. Oh, that's what I need. I need that. I need my.
All right, thank you for everyone coming out today. We're excited to be here. Before we get started, I just want to say a big thank you to our search committee and everybody on it. The last couple of weeks, these guys and women have been working tirelessly to vet and to set up interviews and conduct the interviews. They've done an amazing job. We're still going at it on the GM front.
Domino's
Bro, getting tired. Why do y'all do that, bro? That is so stupid.
A little bit of an update on the general manager position. We've completed a number of interviews up until this point. We're excited about the process. We're excited about the progress. And we've got some in-person interviews coming up in the near future. So that's where we stand on that. Now to why we're here. When we set out on this search process, the committee, talked a lot about what is the vision for our organization moving forward. What is the football going to look like?
Sure.
And one of the things we said, not one of the things, but the main thing was we wanted a detailed, tough, physical football team. On offense, we want an offense that has the ability to run the football, that is going to be explosive with the pass game off of the run. On defense, we're going to stop the run. We're going to be physical against the run. In the pass game, we're going to affect the quarterback physically, and we're going to affect him mentally as well, with disguise, with the way that we play coverage. And then on special teams, we were looking for a unit that was incredibly detailed, that plays with great effort and strain. So it really set up the format for what we were looking for from the head coaching candidates that we spoke to. During that process, we interviewed some incredible people, some coaches that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. But throughout that process, Kevin separated himself. And he separated himself, number one, in the alignment of vision for the football team. He wants smart, tough, highly competitive players and coaches that are open to being held accountable and holding each other accountable. He's an excellent communicator. He's clear, he's concise, and he's direct. And I think that style of communication lends to connection, which is so huge amongst players and coaches, but also coaches and coaches. And I think we're seeing that in the staff that Kevin's putting together.
This type of stuff.
We're really excited
like
about
Matt
Tommy
is
Rees,
becoming more and more comfortable
being
in
and
this
what
position.
he can bring
You
to
know what
our
I'm saying?
team.
So
We're really excited about Craig
what he gonna get to.
Appleman, who's coming in and has a history of playing really solid special teams in his different stops.
Really actually ready to
and then we're excited about retaining Jeff
guys.
Ulbrich as the defensive coordinator. He is
a
great coach who I've been around as a player and watched and commented and seen from a different lens as a defensive coordinator. I think he did a great job with our unit last year, a young group that is ascending and finished the season really strong. So we're excited about the staff that Kevin has started to put together. I think that's one of the most important things for a new coach coming in, is to be able to get a really strong staff around him. We don't do this by ourselves. We do this with the collective, so we're excited about that. And then the last thing is we were really excited about Kevin's entire lived coaching experience, from his start in Minnesota and all of the different things that he did there to his time in Cleveland. The ups, the downs, the highs, and the lows. I know that as a player, I learned from both. I learned from the success, and I learned from the struggles. And I was a better player as I got older as a result of both of those. So with Kevin, we land a head coach who's accomplished a lot, a two-time NFL Coach of the Year. We also get someone who's hungry, highly motivated, resilient, with a lot to prove. We're so excited to welcome Kevin Stefanski as the Atlanta Falcons head coach.
Calm down, Matt. Matt act like he want to go play. Calm down, Matt.
Thank you.
Matt got that fire.
I'm beyond thrilled to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Greg, for entrusting your football team to me. I'm so excited to be here. My family and I, my family is here. My family has felt the warmth from the city and this community. And on that note, I'll sit up here and I will take the blame when it's appropriate. I'm not taking the blame for the weather out there right now, okay? I had nothing to do with that. I did not bring that with me, so I want to clear that up on the front end of this. But seriously, the fans in this town,
and I'm in
so passionate, it's real. I felt it. I've met them out there. I cannot wait to be in this building and feeling this place shaking. I can't wait for that, and I know what this place is about. And Matt and I have talked about what this place is about when this building's rocking. This is a special place. Atlanta's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be here. There was a pull to this job and a pull to this city, and it really started right at the top. It's Arthur Blank and Matt Ryan. Arthur and I share very similar values of how to treat people. He will create an environment and an opportunity to win. And then Matt Ryan. I've known Matt a long time. I've known of Matt a very long time.
And not to be petty, but I gotta stop it and say this. Heard what he said. I wanted to be in Atlanta because of Arthur Blank, Matt Ryan. So that means the front office of the Browns is Campbell. They need to clear the owners. I don't know who the owners of the Browns are, but they seriously probably need to clean their front office out, get new everything in there. Because as long as that's going to keep going, the Browns is going to be poop creek.
I know what he's made of. I know what he's about. I know where he's from, literally. But I also know what is important to him. And what's important to Matt is winning. And I know sitting with Matt and sitting with the general manager, we'll be aligned in that vision of putting together a football team where winning is at the forefront of everything we do. As Matt mentioned, we're putting a staff together that I'm very, very excited about.
You see how I'm gonna wait a little bit.
Putting a staff together is like a puzzle. All those pieces matter. There's some really big pieces, but all the pieces matter. I'm excited about some of the pieces that we've put together already. I'm happy to talk to you about those coaches today that I'm very excited about. But every role, every job on a coaching staff matters because it's our job to develop our football players.
Okay. I gotta say something now because he said something that I didn't hear in Raheem Morris's head coach introductory. Developing players, coaching position matters. He was too busy in there trying to be cool. Hey, look at me, coach. Busy trying. He came in already off rip. I'm liking what he's saying because he ain't got the buffoon already.
Easy thing is to talk about it. It's very, very easy to sit up here and talk about it. We will be about that work. We will put in the work, and it's going to be hard work. We'll put in the work to being a smart football team, to playing a smart brand of football. We will earn that toughness. I believe that physicality and playing this style of football is earned, and we will earn that. I cannot wait until April 7th. That's when we start the offseason program. I can't wait to get our players in the building. I've spoken to a lot of our players. There's still phone calls I need to make. I'm getting through it, but having talked to our guys, I can't tell you how excited I am to talk and to coach this roster, how talented some of these young players are. I know this as coach.
One question I do hope somebody asks, what is the identity like that? Last year, Raheem Morris said, identity. Like, wrong answer, buddy.
We can't wait to develop these players, and we can't wait to help these players become the best versions of themselves. So cannot tell you how excited I am to be here. Thank you for welcoming me and welcoming my family. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Questions, raise your hands. We'll get a mic to you. D-Led, followed by Kelly and Bailey.
Yeah, Coach, what's your assessment of the quarterback situation here, and could you discuss your relationship and time with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota?
Sure. I think with anything roster-related, obviously we'll be hiring a general manager soon, and that's where I mentioned with Matt, the general manager, myself, we can put our heads together and look at our roster, and that includes every single position, not just the quarterback position. I will tell you, obviously, Michael is somebody I'm very excited about, and his rehab is what's most important right now. And I saw him in the training room this week. He's, as you can imagine, attacking his rehab. And then when it comes to Kirk, obviously I have a previous relationship with Kirk, but I don't know if it's the time yet to talk about all positions and those type of things, but those type of conversations will come in due time.
Kelly on your right.
Hey, Kevin. Kelly Price from Fox 5. Welcome to Atlanta.
Thank you.
Welcome to Atlanta with a player.
Cleveland and coming here, what do you think is going to be different this time around, and what did you specifically learn from your time head coaching there?
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. I think, like Matt said, this career in this business, it's sometimes you have to navigate tough times, and I certainly have seen my tough times, and I feel like I'm a better coach on the other side of that. And I, like Matt mentioned, I want to learn from all those things. I hope that there's things that I learned on a day-to-day basis. I hope there's big picture things that I've learned and taken from that. So really excited about where I am, but I wouldn't change anything about the past.
Bailey on your right.
Bailey Burmaster, Sports Director, Atlanta News First. Welcome, Kevin. Accountability is a word that has been used a lot through this interview process. I'm curious, from your time in Cleveland as a head coach, how you feel you best demonstrate accountability with not only your coaches, but your players as well.
Thanks, Bailey.
Great question.
I would tell you that when it comes to accountability or culture, it's really my job to enable a program and put guardrails, if you will, with the program, but the best accountability comes from the locker room, and I believe it is player-driven, and I think Matt's been a part of that in his NFL career in these locker rooms, so I will certainly put a structure together for our players, for our coaches to hold each other accountable, but at the end of the day, a player-driven culture is what we will have.
Tori on the aisle to the left.
Hi, Kevin. Tori McElhaney, AtlantaFalcons.com.
Hey, what's happening,
Curious about how you're going to structure your offensive staff. Will you be calling plays? And also, can you speak to Tommy Reese and working with him the last couple of years?
Now, if you over at Mr. White's network, we just talked about this yesterday. Yeah, we just talked about this. Actually, yesterday was Tommy Reese going to be the quarterback's coach, and OC was just going to be his front name, or is Kevin Stefanski going to be calling plays? Because if he's calling plays, that means Tommy Reese he could take over the quarterback duties of making sure to get him prepped and everything like that. So this is definitely one of the major questions I wanted asked.
Sure. Thanks, Tori. Tommy will call plays. That's a setup that I'm very, very comfortable with. I think he's an outstanding football coach. He's young, but I don't know if you always measure experience just in years. I think he's had unbelievable experiences in his young career. He's somebody that I trust. We see the game similarly, but we also push each other because we're different. So Tommy will head up that offensive staff. I'm excited about some of the people we've been able to bring in already to this group, and I have the utmost confidence in Tommy.
So right there lets me know he's going to focus on just coaching, basically, which is good. I mean, either or. You know what I'm saying? Either or is good because the offensive scheme is coming from him. So say if Tommy Reese gets a head coaching job somewhere, right? Well, he's still the offensive mind behind somewhat pretty much the offense. So you wouldn't have to worry about your offense changing really like that coming in. And then he could always take over play calling duty for a little bit until he felt like he want to promote a guy that's in the locker room. I mean, it's staff to that OC. But not only that, that means also we should be getting a quarterback coach.
Mark Armandi on your left.
Hey, Kevin, over here. Mark Armandi from ESPN. Matt was talking about the vision and how you guys aligned on what this football team will look like. Just in your own words, what is the vision from your perspective? Yeah,
Mark, I think Matt outlined some of the things that are important to us. Playing a physical brand of football is really important. If you want to win in December and January and into February, you have to play that style, as we have all seen over the course of these playoffs. So understanding that we have to be multiple and versatile in everything we do, and that's offense, and that's defense, and that's special teams. But at the end of the day, we want to play a physical brand of football.
Joe Patrick on your right.
Kevin?
Now, I don't know if you want to call that identity structure or however you want, but he's coming in knowing what he wants. I can immediately see the difference with how Ryan Forrest was answering questions. Now he has a more direct saying, a more detailed answer. Like Raheem Morris's questions it's just kind of bland, and then he be trying to give you all these fancy
Joe Patrick, 99 The
Oh,
Game.
bro.
It's been reported that you've been in some of the GM interviews or conversations. Can you talk about whether that's true and what your role has been in those conversations and how you foresee that relationship given Atlanta's front office structure?
Thanks, Joe. I'm here to support Matt and everybody throughout this search. Obviously, tried to give my insight to Matt and everybody as they continue to talk to different candidates. I'm excited to partner with that candidate, and like Matt mentioned, we'll have some more time to spend with those candidates and share a vision for how we see this football team. And I've no doubt with the people that we've spoken to already that we're well on our way in that process.
We'll go Allison, center column to the left, and then Garrett in front of her.
Hey, Kevin, Allison Mastrangelo, Channel 2 in Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta.
Thank you.
You're joining a team that has 8 straight losing seasons and a franchise that is hungry for playoffs and the Super Bowl. So what makes you believe that you're the right guy for the job and can not only do that, but do it very quickly?
Thanks, Allison. I'm here because I believe in this group. I believe in this roster. I believe, like I mentioned, in what Arthur and Matt have put together already. I promise you this, we will work. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about what we're going to do. We're just going to keep our head down and work.
I like that.
Garrett Chapman.
To me, right there, I just got to keep calling it out because our last head coach, so much stupidity. I just got to always point out right there, Raheem Morris would have came, oh, I'm going to do this and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Instead of giving the answer he just gave to me, I could take that answer. We're going to come in here and work. We're going to do this and there, right? Instead of, oh, we're going to outrun the South. We're going to put expectations out there. He didn't put no expectations out there right there. That was an expectation question that he just asked him. That was an expectation question she just asked him. Like, okay, can we expect you to start winning fast? And I ain't gonna, but you can expect us to work, get after it, get it. I can take that in.
Welcome to Atlanta. Garrett Chapman with Falcons on SI. Brian Callahan was one of the first coaches that you hired. What does he bring to your staff?
Bill.
Bill Callahan, excuse me,
no
not
problem.
Brian, excuse me. Bill Callahan, one of the first coaches you hired, you brought to the staff. What does he bring to this team, and is Arthur Blank good on the grill?
I'm sorry, last part?
Arthur Blank, I mean, it said that he was cooking you guys steaks during the whole process.
He was outstanding.
Yes. You have another career, Arthur, if you want it. Bill Callahan is somebody, I hired Bill in 2020. I didn't know Bill prior to that. We had some mutual friends, if you will, in the profession, but I got to witness Bill up close and personal for 4 seasons there and watch how he worked and how he develops players. I think he's the best in the business. So we are thrilled that we're able to add Bill to this group. He's somebody that I lean on, being a former head coach himself, somebody that has been just a great partner for me in our season. So just thrilled to have him.
Go Mark Zeno on the aisle to the right.
Hey, Kevin, Mark Zeno, ESPN on 92.9 here in Atlanta. So much has been made of your time in Cleveland with your relationship with the quarterbacks that you've had, and obviously you're going to be charged with developing a young quarterback here in Atlanta. How do you go about making sure that Michael Penix and his success here are long-term and the philosophy you have for developing a young quarterback?
That's a good question, Mark. I think player development I'm a maniac about it. I'm just crazy about it.
Got to point this out, too. Talk about player development like that. If they did talk about player development with Raheem Morris, I don't remember them asking that. Never talking about developing. But y'all just let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong yet. Like I said, bro, giving good answers. I ain't gonna say they just great, but only time will tell what his
development of our players. We want to be a very intentional group when it comes to developing players. Obviously, the quarterback position's at the forefront of that. So we've certainly, I've been able to be exposed to different quarterbacks, whether it's, rookies or 40-year-old Brett Favre, 40-year-old Joe Flacco. So
I didn't catch. Did he ever answer the little part with Kirk about him being in Minnesota? I kind of felt like he skipped over that.
seen a bunch of different guys at that position, and I think it's our job as coaches to put structure around them, to put a curriculum together in the offseason to get them up to speed in whatever areas, to give them very specific things that we are going to work on together so that they can improve. I think one thing you'll find from our coaches is there'll be specific things that they are working on with the players on a daily basis, and I just believe being intentional about it gives you the opportunity to have development on the other side.
Go Brandon Leak on your left.
How you doing, Coach? Brandon Leak, Sports Radio 680 The Fan. Welcome to Atlanta. Good
Thank
luck. Your position on some of the tough lessons you learned in Cleveland, a couple of trips to the playoffs, but some seasons where you didn't. Some of the tough things you learned in Cleveland that will, you think, make you better or enhance you as a coach. And for Matt, not just from the president's lens, but from a quarterback's lens, you outlined.
When the game's on the line,
Bro,
you want the ball
why
in your hands.
in the middle of
Confident
his
leadership
question?
drives
Why
us
would y'all
to
put this as
Quarterback with Kevin as the coach.
You want to go first?
You can go.
Okay.
I can't. I gotta go back.
And for Matt, not just from the president's lens, but from a quarterback's lens, you outlined some of the strengths you think Kevin has. What would you like as a quarterback that you think will be beneficial for your quarterback with Kevin as the coach?
You want to go first?
You can go.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm a constant learner. I hope I have a growth mindset where I'm going to get better at my job, whatever it is, whether it's being a dad or being a husband. I want to get better every single day. I don't feel like I'm a finished product. So I think all of the lessons learned in Cleveland, in Minnesota, and my time there, I take all of that with me. I take all of it. There are things, of course, you get out of every game and sometimes you wish you did something different. There's things, big picture, maybe you wish you did something different. I think it's just so important that you reflect on those, and I've done that, and find ways that when presented with similar situations, you take all those learnings with you. Again, doing this is, I believe, my 20th year in the NFL, and I hope if I'm not learning, I'm not doing my job. I have to learn every single day that I'm doing this job.
Maria Martin on your right.
Yeah, I think you know, from the quarterback's perspective, you look at it in the positions that you get put in. I always valued the run game and the ability to run the football and some of the pressure that takes off of you, specifically as a young quarterback. I think back to my experience as you talk, and we hear questions about Penix. Some of those early days as a young player, the ability to hand the ball off to a guy like Michael Turner, really solid physical offensive line, the way they played up front, and then using the play action pass off of that. I think those are all tools to help develop a young player. I think that's a strength of Kevin's. I think that's a strength of the staff that's coming in. So I think that's important. I think the other thing it does is it helps with pass protection. When you run the football well and you are not one-dimensional of just sitting back there, letting defensive ends, letting defensive tackles pin their ears back and rush, it slows down some of that. So if you can.
Hey, man, I don't think Matt intention. Hey, I don't think Matt's intentions was to throw shade right there, but he threw so much shade at Zach Robinson right there. Like, your quarterback is just not going to be standing there and being able to let D ends, because pretty much that's what we had Michael Penix doing. Just standing there, letting defensive tackles, D ends, blitzing linebacker, safety, just tee off on our guy, not moving him around, not changing nothing. Like, yeah, bro.
If you can mitigate pass rush, you can mitigate some of the opportunities of sitting back there and dropping back and having to throw it 35, 40 times a game on straight drop back. I think that helps a young player. And I think that's something that Kevin, both in his time in Minnesota and in Cleveland, has done a good job of.
Yes, sir.
Maria on the right side.
Coach, welcome to Atlanta. Maria Martin, 11 Alive News here in Atlanta. So when you're retaining Jeff Ulbrich as the defensive coordinator, in your first conversations with him, aside from shaving the beard, what impresses you about his defensive philosophy, and why was it important to keep him here?
Well, I have a ton of respect for Coach Brick. Again, similar to what I was talking about with Coach Callahan, we don't know each other personally, but we know a lot of people in this business. And the way they talked about him and the way they talked about how he teaches and how he gets the most out of his players, there was a very easy conversation.
This is the thing. a real developer of players and stuff recognize each other. That's probably what is going. That's what it seems like he's getting. Like they don't know each other. They ain't recognize game.
With Coach and I about how we saw this game of football and how demanding we are of our players. And then just watching the tape, some of the things that he was able to do this season with some of our young players, it was really exciting. So early on, we got on the horn, and it was obvious to me, and I think it was obvious to him, we really hit it off, cut from the same cloth, if you will, from a football perspective. But can't tell you how excited I am to have Coach Brick with us.
Go Josh Kendall, followed by Terrence Moore.
Hey, Kevin, Josh with The Athletic. You speak a lot about the run game. What are your thoughts about Bijan Robinson?
He's good. Yeah, I love Bijan. I spent some time with him. When I first got hired, I think I sent him a very late text message. Sorry, Bijan. But just I couldn't wait to talk to him. Spent some time with him in Flowery Branch in the locker room, just catching up. He's a special person. I'd start there. This is a special person that everybody told me about, but then I got to see for myself what type of person he is, and he's team-oriented. He's an intelligent player, and there's no shortage to what he can do with the football in his hands, and that's our job as coaches to find ways to get that ball in his hands.
I don't know what your draft position was 3 years ago or whatever, but how much prep did you do on him at the time, and what did you think of him just as a running back, just as a physical
Yeah, quite honestly,
prospect?
did not do much on him. I don't believe he was somebody that we'd have a chance to get.
Terrence Moore,
He wasn't.
Forbes.com.
He wasn't.
And Kevin, how much were you involved in personnel decisions in Cleveland, and how involved will you be with personnel decisions?
A little bit. I feel like that's a question kind of tweet towards the Baker Mayfield thing, because that's been the thing. Baker Mayfield calling out Kevin Stefanski, supposedly cutting him, but one, you got cut in the Panthers, you got cut from the Rams, but you didn't say anything about these other guys. But you want to say something about Kevin Stefanski? Is it because he's in your division now? You need some motivation, Baker? I'm just saying. That's my thing. I think Baker needs some motivation to help get him through this last year so he can get him another deal. That's what that is.
With the Falcons, and Matt, you can answer that question too.
Sure, Terrence. It's my job to tell our GM, to tell Matt what I think of a player. It's my job to tell them the fit of the player in our offense, our defense, our special teams. I'm a partner. I want to collaborate and give my opinion. But ultimately, I trust the people in those type of positions to pick the players. As a coach, I want to develop our players. I want to get the absolute best out of our players. And I know Matt and I have talked about that collaboration, how it works really well in buildings and making sure that everybody is aligned on that. But I really, from my perspective, I want to give the fit part of the answer to those type of questions.
Sam Crenshaw on the aisle to the right.
Sam Crenshaw, CBS Atlanta, and 92.9 The Game. Welcome to Atlanta, Coach.
Thank you.
I feel like we should be saying where the players play
just
right
say-
after
go-
you say
go
it
ahead,
every
go right
time.
ahead.
Just
Feel free.
where the players play.
That kept popping in my head too. Every
You
time
mentioned your
somebody
excitement
said
about the
that.
opportunity here, and you obviously know about
I was
Bijan,
thinking
but my
about
question
that.
is this. I know your main focus has been Cleveland, but how much did you have a chance to pay attention to what was happening here, and what was holding this team back from succeeding?
Thanks, Sam. Listen, I respect the question. I'm not so concerned about the past when I take this job. I'm so focused on the future, and I am forward looking. I got the blinders on for 2026 and beyond. Having said that, do we watch the tape and look at areas that we feel like we can help our players? Of course, that's our job as coaches. But previous seasons really won't affect how we coach this football team moving forward.
Steak, back left.
Hey, Coach.
So basically what he mean is I am not here to correct these past coaches. That's what that means. Like, bro, we coming in here to establish what we gonna do. Not coming trying to correct the coaches, trying to take their philosophy, make them right, make them look better in the eyes. And do it. That's what that is.
Steak Shapiro, 92.9 The Game. You talked about wanting to take the job. A lot of it's Matt Ryan and Arthur Blank. How much of the roster, can you go a little deeper into this roster? How prepared were you to talk about it prior to the interview? How deep did you go about it? And then now that you've been the coach for a little while, So a little more detail on why you think this roster is one you wanted to inherit.
Very excited about the roster. And when you go on a visit or a Zoom, whatever it is, you do your homework on teams. And like we mentioned, you do your homework on the staff and those type of things. But when you look at this roster, I think there's really good young players at some key positions. I think there's some veterans that have played excellent football over the course of their career. So, Bijan comes to mind as a good young player that I can't wait to get to work with. But if you look up and down the roster, there are players that I'm excited to coach and get the best version of them. There are no perfect rosters in the NFL. It just doesn't exist. There's always things that you want to improve or change, if you will. So certainly we'll go through the player acquisition period, and there will be some new faces and those type of things. But incredibly excited to coach some of these players on this team.
He doesn't only cook the steaks, he keeps you hydrated as well.
We talked a lot about servant leadership, and Arthur, you were putting that on display.
It's funny.
All right, we'll go Luke straight back on the camera stand.
Coach, directly in the back. Luke Hetrick, Channel 2 here in Atlanta. Welcome. Question for both Kevin and Matt.
Where the
Kevin,
play is
I know you didn't
black.
want to talk too much about personnel, but when you've seen on tape what has stood out about Michael Penix Jr. in his first 2 seasons, and then for Matt, you talked at your introductory press conference about the hierarchy with president of football, GM, head coach. Bob Quinn gets hired as senior advisor. What is his role going to be when it comes to that collaborative process for you guys?
Over on Mr. White's network, we talked about this too. What at Bob Quinn hire play a real critical role, and me personally, I wanted to know what his role was going to be. Like, what was he doing? Because advisor to head coach. What does that mean?
Well, I'll start with Bob. Bob is Kevin's senior advisor, and that's a setup that has worked for him. I think what we're trying to do in all areas is set up a support system for both the head coach and the general manager to allow them to be successful. That was something that we talked with all of our candidates about, of what is the best structure and setup to allow you for success. So that's Bob's role with us.
Michael, again, just excited about the physical gifts. What's most important right now for Michael is to get healthy. He knows that, and we'll get to football here shortly, but he's attacking his rehab. I think you see a player on tape that can get through progressions, can layer the ball, can push the ball to all areas of the field. Obviously was very productive in college, has had some really, really, really good moments here in the pros. So I just see a young player that will continue to develop and continue to get better.
We'll go Taryn back left.
Hello, Taryn Walk with AtlantaFalcons.com. Kevin, you were able to find success with the Browns in just your first season. What is the key to that quick turnaround that you can bring here to Atlanta?
Thanks, Taryn. It's a good question and something Matt and I have talked about. To succeed in this league, you succeed with people, and you have to have the right people. And that's about putting the coaching staff together. That's about putting this roster together and the guys in that locker room and making sure everybody knows exactly how you're going to play football. I think that's something you'll hear from me and from our players. We're going to know who we are. We're going to know the identity from which we play. And I think making that clear on the front end gives you a chance to have success in the fall.
And that's and watch Atlanta Falcons next season, Mad Mike Sports, Mr. White Network, 6-Man K Styles, Coach Unchained, anybody, bro. Always been saying this. Do talk sports. OG. They've always been our identity. And we have to establish our identity. He just said we're going to establish our identity at the beginning, take us through later on. It's like every time these last few coaches never established our identity. And then I feel like with Arthur Smith, we kind of established our identity, kept fondling away from it. But that's great to know and hear.
Go Jay Busby on your left, followed by Ken.
Kevin, Jay Busby, Yahoo Sports. Following up on that, you mentioned that you're going to be the team's going to be starting up practice in April. What has been your message as you've contacted each player? What have you said to them? What tone have you set as you spoke to each player?
I just want to get to know our players. As we know, and I think Matt mentioned it, good football teams are connected. Good football teams care about each other. And I want to just get to know our players. When in my position, when you're asking your players to do some of the things we're asking them to do, they have to trust you, and they have to know that you have their best interest in mind. So that's just part of getting to know our players, starting a relationship with them.
Ken on the left.
Ken Segura with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I think there were a lot of fans that were concerned about the way things ended for you in Cleveland for the last two seasons. What can you say to assure them that that isn't your work,
Sure.
that you're capable of doing better?
Sure. I appreciate the question, Ken. I would tell you, I've learned from all of my seasons in this football, in this game of football, if you will. Something I've told Matt, there's a quote I love where smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. And I think it's something that's important, as all of us understand. Some of those tough moments are going to make us better. I'm so excited about what we're doing at the Atlanta Falcons in 2026 and what we're going to be about. And I know this, you're going to get the best version of me as we get going here. You're also going to get somebody that's going to grow every single day that I'm in this profession.
Right now,
Somebody that
I bet
I'm
not
going to push
hear
myself. I'm going to have a staff
no,
around
we
me.
gonna talk about that. I bet not hear none of that come out of this dude's mouth. I promise you. After the first loss, I bet not hear we got to get better. I don't want to hear that crap. It's hey, they beat us. They were just a better team. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear none of that. We got to get better. But just me personally, so far as I've been watching this interview, he mentally, he's a better coach already than Raheem Moore. That's just 100% honest. That's just me. Like mentally from here, he seems like a way better coach than Raheem Morris already. That's just my opinion, though.
Going to push me, and to our fans, I want them to know that we're going to put our heads down and we're going to work.
Back right, Michael Cunningham.
Hello, Kevin. Michael Cunningham at AJC. You and Matt both have been emphasizing the importance of the run game. Here in Atlanta over the years, they've favored mostly in a wide zone scheme. Is that something you're in favor of? And also, what's your overall philosophy on running the ball?
Sure. So I do believe in running the football, and that's something that Matt and I know is valuable in this league. But we also know that there's a lot of work that goes into running the football, and that's from a roster standpoint, that's from a schematic standpoint. Yes, wide zone football is something that I believe in. You also have Coach Callahan here, and Coach and I, when we got together there in Cleveland, really balanced two worlds of wide zone football and some gap football. And I think that's a really good place to start when you're talking about
gap scheme. So it's going to be a couple of things. Now, I put up some centers. And I think my number one guy on my center board was Pat Cougar. And Coogan, Indiana's starting to they said he will be great for a gap scheme. That's where you best talent and stuff out of a scheme kind of like that. So if we can kind of marriage a gap scheme, wide zone scheme together, I think he would great for us.
Run game. I do believe you can't be good at everything. I don't believe you can be so diverse that you're trying to live in every single world. I think you have to hang your hat on specific things.
And I think
Coach Callahan, as you get around Coach Callahan and Tommy Reese and hear them talk about the run game, they can kind of give you a picture of what that can look like.
Got time for a few more. Garrett Chapman.
Yeah, this will be his third year. So, boom.
Coach, this team was very aggressive in going and getting and fixing the edge rush last offseason. What have you seen in Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr.?
Yeah, very, very talented young men. Excited to coach both of them, obviously. Have talked to Coach Brick about those guys in particular and how we can deploy them. And I think what you've seen Coach Brick do, what you've seen around the league with what teams are doing with these elite edge rushers is really creating matchups. And I was around a pretty good edge rusher recently with Myles Garrett, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a nightmare for teams to game plan against. And every team goes into it saying, we can't let this guy wreck the game. And for us having some young players like Michael, like Jalen, guys that we feel like we can develop and get the best version of them, it allows you to have multiple guys that the team is trying to scheme against. James, excuse me.
Mark Zeno on your right.
Kevin, right here again. Mark Zeno, ESPN 92.9. And this is for both of you. The word vision has come up a lot since this whole process has started. You guys have clearly outlined what the vision is. How do you execute it? How do you get there? How do you arrive at it? I know it's a long process, but where are we in the steps process of executing the vision?
We're in the beginning. We still got another critical piece that we're going to add to this. you know, here in the near future, which I think is
by
going
the
to
end of
be
the week,
as
we'll have
important
our GM.
as either of the two of us. And so
then
we're
by the
excited about
next,
that.
I would
And
say
then it's
probably
really,
after.
you know, coming together and laying
I
the
want to say before
foundation
the
for what
Senior
we want it to
Bowl,
look like.
we will
But,
have
you know, from my perspective, how do you
full
get
coaching
started? You get
staff.
started with one step. And it's solid
within the
step
next 2
after
weeks, I
solid
think
step
our
after
full
solid
coaching
step.
staff
We have an
will,
idea of where we want to go. The path to get there, one of
pulled
the
out, and I
things
think
Kevin
by
has
the end
talked
of
about
this
is,
our
you know,
GM will
when
be
you have the map and the terrain and the terrain
Kevin,
differs
we're
from the
getting a
map, you
second
go with the
interview with
terrain.
the
And so
Chicago's guy.
we've got a vision of where we're going to go, but we know there's going to be
forgot his
bumps
name,
along the
Cunningham,
way, and
something
you've got to be able
Cunningham.
to adjust and adapt to those things. But you start,
But
it starts with the
60
evaluation of the roster. When our
Chicago
I have a very active family,
get this
and it can be hectic at times juggling.
it's a solid evaluation of our roster, where we're at, where we think pieces fit, where some pieces don't fit. And then we go along with the league calendar until we get to the OTA phase.
Justin Feller on the
I agree. I concur. Stamp that.
Hey, Justin Felder from Fox 5 Atlanta. This question's for Matt. Was there a moment, something Kevin said, a feeling that you had in the interview process where you started to think or you thought, okay, this is going to be our guy?
I think, you know, it's not one specific thing. You know, I think all of us went into this with a really open mind of trying to find who's the best person to take this football team and this organization forward. We had a number of different metrics that we were looking for. And sometimes you have a good feeling after an interview or a discussion. And then you go back and you look at your notes and you take a look at some of the metrics that you find important and how they stack up. But I would say more important than anything was the reference work that we did. And as impressive as Kevin is, and as much as I enjoyed the conversations that we had, the reference work, not only by myself, but the entire research committee of going through and talking to former players, talking to former coaches, talking to different people around the league that knew Kevin from different stops along the way, it all started to line up. And I really think that was the biggest thing. The feeling that we were getting was matching up with the reference work that we were doing. And so that was more where I felt like things started to align.
Brandon League.
Coach, you've had good success when you've had good quarterback play, but I was wondering your philosophy on the tight end. You have been a quarterback whisperer when you've had the veteran quarterbacks or a good quarterback play. I wonder if you consider yourself a tight end whisperer, and what do you think about Kyle Pitts with a very big decision on him coming up at the end of the season?
I wouldn't say whisper. I'll say aficionado. How about that? I love the position. I coached it. It was my first position coach. First position to coach on the offensive staff was tight ends there with the Vikings under Coach Zimmer. You know, I love the position because of the versatility that it provides in offense. And you've seen it around the league. This is nothing new or earth-shattering, but tight ends that can line up all over, make life hard on a defense, and where you can line them up outside, in the backfield, in line, you name it. We love versatility of that position. Obviously, Kyle's somebody that we'll talk at length more about when it comes to those type of roster conversations, but the position itself is something that we feel really very strongly about.
Go Mike Bell, far back left.
Mike, tonight in the game,
I-
are you
me
surprised
personally, I think
Mayfield's
Kyle Pitts will
comments
be back.
about you coming to Atlanta and looking forward to seeing you twice a year?
Yeah, you know, Baker's somebody that I have a ton of respect for as a player and a person. I love rivalries in sports, and obviously Buccaneers, Falcons have a great rivalry.
Whoa, Buccaneer. I thought he almost said fucking ears and Falcon. What? Mr. Stefanski out here saucing like that? Wait a minute. Yeah.
It's something that I'm excited about.
I ain't gonna put no smut on that man.
I would not get into the specifics of those type of things, other than to say I have a ton of respect for Baker as a player, as a person. That's a great team with a great player.
Go Joe Patrick on the right.
Questions for Matt. When Kevin mentioned that Tommy's going to be calling plays, was that something that you talked about with him in the interview process? And what's your kind of comfortability with that and how that kind of came about?
Yeah, yes, certainly something. We talked to all of the candidates that we spoke to about their vision for building a staff, maybe some of the ideas that they had at certain coordinator positions, and certainly something Kevin and I have talked about. I've leaned in to the reference work we've done on Kevin we've done on Tommy. And we're making sure that, we're talking to the people who have been around him, not only in Cleveland, but in his college stops, and what he is like as a coach. I think, these are big hires,
Larry,
and important hires for them, and you want to make sure, everybody's.
They keep saying, from where they're talking, the standpoints that they're talking from, he's going to be our future quarterback. Let's just put it like that. Like, a lot of people probably speculate, oh, he didn't got hurt again. And then, bruh, if you realize he got hurt because of our offensive coordinator in the play calling he had. It wasn't like, it'd be different if he got hurt and he was out there playing and doing something, like, doing just a play and stuff. No, we got an offensive play coordinator. We had a coordinator who could not call plays to protect our quarterback, and he just kept putting them out there to get exposed and get hit. Like,
seeing it the same way. And so we did a lot of reference work on Tommy and feel much like Kevin, very strongly about him as a young coach and what he can do. And agreed that
my mic is starting to act funny.
He's
like,
inexperienced when it comes to play calling in the NFL, but he's very experienced at calling plays.
Yeah, MPJ gonna be our starter going forward. I was never down that.
Introduce myself, D. Orlando Ledbetter of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
We don't give a fuck, D-Led.
Sorry for sending Baker after you. And Matt, have you?
Good work, D-Led.
have you prepped him on the Saints though? That's your real rival in the NFC South. Have you got him up to speed on the Saints being the Steelers, Browns, and the Battle of Ohio, where he's coming from?
Absolutely, and again, I'm a NFL fan. I love this sport. I grew up watching every one of these teams, and so I know full well how important that rivalry is with us and the Saints. Obviously, Kellen Moore is a good friend of mine, and that's the part of this business. When you've been doing this long, you're going up against a lot of your friends in this business, and you can be friends with them for 363 days of the year. And for those other 2 days, you're competing.
It's like my mic be acting funny, boy. Hopefully, y'all got a chance to hear
Jay
what I
Busby,
said.
Yahoo
If y'all
Sports.
did,
Matt, this is for
let me
you.
know
This
what I
year we
missed.
saw a number of teams change head coaches and go from single-digit wins to playoff berths. What is the organizational expectation for that kind of rap?
¿Quieres internet más rápido que sin
boy, I get tired of that, bro. Like, why? How are y'all showing interviews?
As Kevin said, the expectation is to always win. There's no doubt about that. But part of what we've talked about is how do you get there? And I think, my expectation is that we come to work with the right mindset every day, and we focus on the things that we need to do in order to get the results that we want. Very process driven. I was as a player, and I will be in this new role as well. I think when you take care of the process and you get that right, everything else starts to fall into place. So the expectation for me, for Kevin, and for everybody in our building is to come in with the right mindset every day and to get to work.
Go to the back left and stay with Luke.
Hey, Coach, I'm not sure how many times you played the Falcons in the past in your role, but when the outside looking in as Atlanta, as an NFL town, as a franchise, as a team you went up against, can you give some thoughts, maybe including going up against Matt, on what your perception has been on Atlanta overall as an organization and as a football town, the fans? What's your overall thought of Atlanta?
Steak, before you get to that, I've been telling them how good of a food city this is. And nobody's a better expert on the food scene here than Steak Shapiro.
Well, with that name, you better be.
For any recommendations, you got to go to Steak.
You better be.
Where would you recommend? Hold on, I'm going to ask you a question, Steak. Give Kevin a recommendation here. Where should he head?
What part of town? Is it a lunch call? There's I'd go to Busy Bee across the street, best fried chicken, Atlanta staple. right after the press conference, bring the family, get a taste. It's a good meet and three. Do those guys know what a meet and three is?
I didn't
right?
know what a meet and three was until about year 4 with Mike
Right,
Johnson's buddy.
so-
John Parker Wilson told me what a meet and three was.
There you go. That would be my first recommendation for anybody coming to Atlanta. So, and then you can talk about the other stuff.
Okay.
What was the
Sorry, I just
question?
had to throw that out there.
What was the question?
I think the question is the outsider's perspective of going against the Atlanta
I'm getting
Falcons.
hungry. Yeah, this is a special town. And again, growing up as a fan of this game, that helmet to me is iconic. It really is. And growing up watching some of the players in this building, or not this building, but in this town, and what this means to this city, I've been getting educated by Matt and by our group on what this city is all about, and how the passion that they have for this team is real. It's real. And it's rooted in the history of this team, and it's rooted in a desire to win. And that's something that just perfectly aligns with how I see this business.
Luke in the back.
Hey, Coach, question for you. In the past, you've talked about organizational structure and the importance of that. Matt is new in his role. It's a newly created position. Based on the candidates that have come in so far for general manager, it might be someone that is new in that role as well. How much did that impact your decision? How much of a conversation was that for you going through this process?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Matt being here was a draw for me. That's why, a big part of why I wanted to come here and work with Matt. I think organizational structure.
OG always say, pay attention to the actions that Matt Ryan had.
You can talk as much as you want about that. To me, do you have the right people, and do you have common goals? And I would answer that we do.
Got time for one more, Allison.
Hey, Matt, this is for you. I remember Arthur Blank was talking about trying to land the planes at the same time, and you guys are the only ones that have a GM job open. So why has it taken you so long to land a GM, and how much is Kevin involved in that, trying to find one?
Yeah, air traffic control told us to slow down. I think that was it, But no, I think, as much as we want it, starting the process of getting out in front and making sure that we had lists put together for candidates in both spaces. Ideally, you'd love to land it at the same time. But given the pace of the head coaching search, and given, like you said, there only being one opening at the general manager position, I think it made most sense for us, to kind of compartmentalize the two. I feel like we're in a really good space in terms of where we're at in the GM search. Feel like our process has been really good. I think we've made really strong progress, and still feel like we're in a space and a time frame, where we can accomplish everything we need to accomplish given the league calendar.
Stefanski was connected, which
Thanks,
I didn't
everyone.
know that.
We're going to wrap real quick, move the table, and have a quick photo op.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good to meet everybody.
But yeah, I didn't even know that. So hey man, it's just lovely. So I'm just ready to see what the rest of our coaching staff gonna build out. Still got a couple positions to fill on offense, a few positions to fill on defense. And overall, my thoughts on this interview, I loved it. Gave identity, pretty much established stuff, and we're here to work and stuff for not position. You ain't come and get these high and mighty quotes and stuff like Raheem Morris did. He didn't do none of that. They came in and gave solid answers, stuff I wanted to hear from my coach, and gave ideas about the team. So overall, I like his presence. I have nothing more to say. Make sure y'all tune in to Mr. White Network later on today. OG today. Tuesday 10 from my bad. We will be I think we'll be doing a pregame show, of course. We'll be talking about today's presser, and we'll be doing a pregame show of the East and Western Shrine Bowl. And then at halftime, we'll have a show. And then we'll finish out the rest of that game live. So we'll do that like that. We got a full busy day today. But hey, man, all well and be well. So make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share it to your friends, family, turn your notifications on so you know when I post new content. Also, like I said, I did my draft videos. I got some draft videos up and stuff like that. So on the center position. Y'all go check those out, man. Till next time, you guys stay